Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us here at Spiritism at Noon, a program developed by the Spiritist Group of New York. Currently, we are studying the book Full Life by the Spirit Joanna de Angelis, received through the medium Divaldo Franco. And we are going to be talking about chapter 6 today, Good and Evil. And as we always like to remind everyone, each chapter brings a different topic. So if you're just joining today, you'll be able to follow through the study, the discussions we are about to have. We are going to be start reading the chapter by parts, and then we will be commenting. Good and evil. An old African proverb says that a mighty tree grows in silence, but makes noise when it falls. Moral evolution is a silent work, transforming veils for the use of those that are uplifting. Virtue results from the effort to discern all that brings progress and the good. Possessing the light of spiritual knowledge, individuals are propelled to grow, overcoming moral flaws and purifying their inner essence, which is the sublime inheritance received from God. Any form of inner growth is critical in the continuous battle to overcome the bad tendencies that retain the spirit in ignorance. Such achievements, however minimal, broaden the possibilities for self illumination as the spirit leaves the submissive night of primitiveness for the understanding of the truth. People aspire to be happy as if it was something easy to find and simple to manage. Some cling to things that portray an image of success, grant a prominent place in society, elicit envy, and fuel the passions. However, many who already have it all end up becoming slaves to their possessions and spend their time caught up in material illusions, notorious for leaving a big empty space at the most significant times in our lives. How many people there are whose wealth and influence could not shield them from life's vicissitudes and the afflictions there are an integral part of the process of human growth. So it's a very deep chapter, I think, for us to be talking about today. Because, as always, Joanna de Angelis brings uh, topics that will be really shaking us in our core and understanding what is good and what is evil. And I think it's so important the way she started by saying that the might tree grows in silence, but when it falls, it makes noise. Because we in society mostly pay attention to what makes noise. And because we are not seeing the good works that have been accomplished, but by so many trees that are growing in silence, we even tend to believe that it's not existing. And because she says here, moral evolution is a silent work. It's something that requires we ourselves working um, alone and with uh, the assessment of what we have conquered already in terms of virtues and what we have is still have in terms of imperfections. And so this path for self-illumination is like it says, it's self-illumination. Right? Even when we are like we ourselves, for instance, we belong to this group, we are studying together, and of course, this help us in the process of self-illumination because it's going to bring us knowledge, reflections, the discussions we are going to be having, the conversations we are going to be having, that it's following the study of the chapter, but at the end of the day, whether you are going to be applying that in your lives or not, it's up to you. So that's why it's self-illumination. And even the choice to look for ways, right, for means that will guide you in this process. And this is what we are doing when we participate in these studies like this one. This is what we are doing. We are looking for means to grow, understand. And many people, like she says here, when they think about happiness, they depict an image that is much more related to the material aspects of life than the spiritual aspects of life. Still, they think it's because of what they have, the way they dress, the way they conduct themselves in society. They are going to be giving them this happiness that they want so much. But at the end of the day, sometimes even in this process of amassing so much material resources, it make them slaves, because once you start in this process, there is always the worry of maintaining it, of making it grow, of passing to your successors, hoping that they are going to be responsible enough to deal with that as well. And one thing that is very certain is that although, of course, having more material possibilities, financial resources can help you in certain circumstances, they are not going to be eliminating you going through difficult times in your lives. Sometimes you have a family member that is very ill, and you can give the doctors all the money in the world, and still they are not going to be able to fix the situation. So this is what, in this first part, she's leading us to think about. Any comments? Sonia?
And what I was thinking is everything about our improvement, or in light of when we fail, then we don't need to walk far. Everything we need is around us in our daily life. As you mentioned about someone in our family, or someone difficult, or someone in light, it's all everything close to us. Then, and keep my mind thinking about things, because sometimes we try to find our happiness, or where we can be charitable or something like this, and then when you look around, it's everything around us, close to us. It's not so far.
That's true. Anyone else? Yeah, go ahead, Zoraida.
This is so beautiful how she explains this, and especially when we're talking about the African proverb that the tree grows in silence but makes noise when it falls. As individuals, we grow in our families, right? And we have that inner growth within that family. And yes, within the family, not the outside, knowing what's going on in the inside of our family. It's a silent growth within the family. But when things go awry and problems begin to evolve, it's a different matter now. It's things that are not going right, the difficulties in life. How are we going to deal with this? Are we going to do the right thing? And many of us, what we do is concentrate on things that are not going to stray us to the right road morally. You know, we live a life here in this physical world, but we work more on the physical instead of the spiritual, and we have to be careful what's the difference between good and evil. And goodness of things that we enjoy and love seem to be good, but in actuality, it's not so good. We have to keep growing in the sense spiritually and in understanding what life is all about. Because before we know it, we find ourselves in difficulties that we can't exceed or get out of. That's how I'm trying to figure what Joanna de Angelis is trying to tell us here. Oh no.
Yes. Well, anyone else? So let's continue reading. On the other hand, how many people are there who, though challenged on several levels, but having a peaceful conscience, experience well-being and harmony? The good is this trait granted by life so that order may provide balance in all activities. There are areas in the vastness of salt pans where the line of demarcation between the sky and the earth blend, and desolation seems to be death's companion. However, they are enchantingly beautiful for those who have the eyes to see. Sterile and extremely arid deserts, such as the Atacama Desert, where clouds rarely shed their tears, turn into a festival of colorful and enchanting flowers during the spring, when the sad landscape is completely altered and enriched with life. And the trail of destruction ensuing seismic phenomena such as seaquakes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions transform into magical landscapes over time. In the end, everything leads to the eternal good. The apparent evil of today is the harbinger of a majestic and unexpected future. Today's challenge, after being met, grants all combatants the view of the blessings within their reach. Likewise, the good expands its inherent greatness so life can thrive. Do not linger in evil. It is only as test of your process of growth. Bless the roses without cursing the thorns. Darkness allows you to rest your eyes so that you may enjoy the dazzling views during the time. Um, and this part, she's very poetically tries to console us, right? To bring some comfort in saying that even when we are in the most difficult times of life, it doesn't mean that this is not helping us constructing beauty. Uh, and with time, we will see that we gather so much strength and so much knowledge from life's experience, good or bad. And this is what will really help us as human beings, as immortal spirits at the end, to stand tall and to see how much even those difficult situations have made us grow. And this is why she uses those examples of the desert, of the volcanic eruptions, or even, the beauty that we have from roses. I mean, if there were not the thorns, we couldn't have the roses, right? So to learn to differentiate and to take the best of life and to have these eyes to see, like she says, as an immortal spirit in the long term. Uh, Everything that uh, we have today, it just came to my mind, this saying that what doesn't kill you make you strong. All right, is that the right way, Soraya?
Yes, yes. But doesn't kill
Right.
you, make you stronger. You're absolutely right.
So, I mean, I think it's more or less in a very simple way of saying, I think this is what she's saying, right? It's not going to kill you because you are an immortal spirit. So everything is just going to make you strong, and strong in the sense of spiritual growth, right? Is not to become a bitter soul, one that has been facing so many challenges that you become bitter, but no, that you start to develop more empathy towards one another, compassion, tolerance, and even, of course, especially towards yourself.
Yes.
So this is what she's saying here.
Yeah, but it's so difficult, you said, it's so difficult when you're going through so much pain. You try to find a way and say, no, okay, I understand this, but then you kind of go through doubts and say, okay, why this and why not that? Why do I have to go through this? Oh God, please. And sometimes it's just overwhelming.
Yeah.
That it is, but I understand what she's saying. It is what it is. It's to learn. We're learning this, but we don't want to learn through pain. We don't want to learn through pain. So
And I think that if we change our perspective as well, commonly we think that every difficult time that we have to face is, it's God's fault. God, if you do believe in God, otherwise it's because, you blame your lack of luck and all of those things. We never think that they are, that we are in a school, and those obstacles are there to help us develop our intelligence, strategy, and learn all those processes. So we always mention many times, how hard it is for a child to start going to school and having all those uh, tasks and homeworks and quizzes and exams and all that. It's very much like this in life, but when you finally go through and you go through the next level, this uh, feeling of fulfillment, of achievement is so extraordinary, right? And this is what is building us little by little to this next phase until we become perfected spirits. Any more comments? Yes.
We know it's not easy to face our difficulties, but when we start to learning about gospel and we start to change something, our point of view or how we see our difficulties, the challenge, the life we need to face in our life, and to remind me something when I start to learning about spiritism. I believe it's from Chico Xavier. It's we need to leave the old man and start to be a new man. a new person. Then it's exactly what I believe she's trying to tell us. We change our behavior, and then we are more strong to face our difficulties, and we really learn how to deal with our difficulties. Then,
Yeah. Yeah, Marcelo?
I think what, as you said, we need to change the perspective. Is that she's trying to say here? So we can see beautiful when we have eyes to see. So it's we are seeing all the same, but the perspective changed. So a person that is happy is because she is looking for other thing, and a person could living the same thing and looking for other place maybe is being sad. So I think all the life is depends of the our eyes, you know, our eyes to see the beauty in all things that we live, even the bad things.
Yeah, I remember, there is this story that people say that and there was this company that manufactures shoes, and they sent one of the employees to go to India to study the market there. And so this person went there and returned and said, "Listen, I don't think there is any place for us in there. People in India, uh, they don't wear much shoes." And but then they sent another one, and the other one went back and said, the market there is great because they don't wear shoes. So it's the same situation, a different perspective, right? And this is also the difference of looking at the glass half full or half empty. And this is what is going to make us advance more. And I mean, when we see it half full, we get the motivation to say, okay, I'm doing it. That's great. And just go ahead and keep on doing it. But if you see just half empty, you'll say, oh my God, there's no point. The more I do, the more it seems that I don't reach the end. So the perspective, the state of mind is crucial in this situation. Yeah.
Can I say one thing more? I remember a book that I read that is things that is the same that we are talking about. I don't know if you read this, Viktor Frankl.
Yes.
So I think he's trying to say that people that survive in the concentrations of Auschwitz, this kind of things,
Yeah.
they have a different minds. They are focused in something good to do, and I learned with this book because change our minds, our perspective, to see the things. So just a recommendation because
This book is
it's beautiful.
I remember Viktor Frankl, the sense of life. He is the one that created the logotherapy, the self love, and I had the chance to visit his institute in Vienna, and it's really amazing what he did, and how much this book teaches us from someone that understood that you are a human being. And I think it's very much what Joanna de Angelis is trying to tell us here. Do not dismay. You are not abandoned by God and providence, and you are a loved human being, a loved spirit. And those things at the moment may see like, sea quakes, earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, all of those things. But at the end of the day, uh, they will bring so much beauty to your lives, beauty in the sense of, the growth of the spirit. Not, we are not talking about physical beauty here, but the and that's amazing. I'm happy you're reading this book. So let's continue here. When facing existential tribulations and suffering, wrongly seen as misfortune, keep your serenity and wait for the divine providence which will come to your aid. The real evil is that in which you harm your neighbor and therefore your future life. As a result, both good and evil are a reality. Oftentimes, actions that lead you to experience suffering and loneliness, disenchantment and anguish are considered an evil from which everyone wants to be freed. However, if you know how to understand their earning, it becomes the real good, a good that is true and flawless. Therefore, not all that is unpleasant and desirable at a certain time constitutes a real good. Likewise, a detested and rejected misfortune, if handled wisely, turns out to be a real blessing. Thus, now silently and acquire wisdom, so that your life may be a happy one. No need to boast if you are at peace and have solved your problems. Just be jovial and optimistic, spreading the joy of living and loving. Never curse a bad situation because it momentarily gets in the way of achieving your goals. Be thankful instead for all that you have already done and for the assets that do not corrode, that thieves do not steal, and time does not turn into dust. It is necessary to learn the difference between suffering well and suffering badly. Whatever the circumstances, turn on the light of hope in your mind, the joy of God's love in your heart, and do not despair. However severe your afflictions may be at the present time, they will pass and will provide you with a glorious future. And however wealthy and amazing your current circumstances may be, enjoy them without neglecting to help others, for they too shall pass. Grow in wisdom silently, gathering blessings. A father who possessed great wealth had two sons. Sensing that his own death was approaching, he wanted to know how one of them was the wisest to entrust him with the management of his assets. So he summoned his sons and said, I have two empty rooms that I'd like you to fill to maximum capacity for the least amount of money. The one who does it best will manage my wealth, besides inheriting his share. At the appropriate time, the young son called his father and showed him his room filled to the hilt for very little money. He had filled it with hay. The older son, in turn, showed the father his room totally illuminated by a light bulb. Deeply moved, the father said to the younger son, you fill the space with darkness, while your brother filled it with light. And the older son was made manager. Uh, I think in this part, like she's saying, it is part of life going through what we go through. We go through difficult times. We go through times where we feel so much joy. But again, we have to understand why we are here, and we are here to learn, and we learn from both. We don't need to learn just from pain. Actually, the Spirit says us that we can learn only from good things if we put ourselves to that, in the sense that many times we go through unnecessary difficult times in my life because we are going against the current. And every time we go against the natural laws, the law of God, we will have and feel the consequences. But when we go, following and the path through righteousness, we, although there will be obstacles in the path, our even our inner disposition is different. And I think the story is it brings so much clarity in relation to that. We try to fill the empty space with things that are not useful, that are not going to contribute. I mean, sometimes it's just better to leave it there and little by little fill with what is good. And this way, like he said, that the older son filled with light, right? It means the inner disposition, like saying to life, here I am, with hope and faith and open uh, to fill up my life in the sense. And always she makes an invitation for us to care about others in what we do, in the way we behave ourselves, in everything that it is within our reach that we are capable of making better. Sometimes it may be something very simple, just, visit a friend and bring flowers to make her day shine brighter, with the smell of the flowers, with the tenderness that this gesture signifies. So it doesn't need something major. There are so many, many small things that we can do that really can bring help and assistance in this sense. Any comment or question? Okay, so let's go to the last phrase. Jesus is the light of the world. Transform all your misfortunes into blessings and envelop all the good you do in light. Yeah, Jesus is there, the light of the world, the path, the truth, and the life. And let's put our heart out. We shouldn't feel afraid of showing our emotions, our feelings, and demonstrate how much we feel blessed because we are in the world, because we are having this opportunity of making a difference. And remember, we don't have to make a difference in the whole world. We just have to make a difference in terms of, we ourselves changing, and those who are near us, the impact that our state of mind and our inner disposition may have in the life of those that are close to us. So it's not about becoming a missionary that, in 3, 4, 5 centuries, the millennium people will be talking about you. No, it's about, knowing what you have to do, fulfilling the, uh, God's desire, in the sense that God's desire is that our inner light may always shine. And I don't know if you have any more comments. No. Yeah, those are always lessons that lead us to think and reflect. Oh my God, I've been complaining so much lately about this or that. I should be more patient. And I know I have experience, right? Difficult times came in my way in the past as well. And now where are they? They belong in the past. And so in the same way, we've assumed a positive attitude, one that is filled with hope and faith and the certainty that we are here to grow and to be happy, and that this is in our own hands. Definitely we are going to be looking at things with a different attitude, and use them as steps to take us each time higher and higher in this pathway of inner growth. Any comments or questions? Yes, Marcel?
I'm trying to figure out this story that she told us. Trying to put in a real example. I don't know if I understand, but I'm trying to think in my life, you know. So maybe I have an example. Getting titles, studying. Maybe I'm fooling my life with titles, labels, this power. But maybe I need more light inside, or how can I say, forma íntima,
Inner self.
inner self. It's like this, she's trying to say something.
I think this is a very interesting angle that you got from this, and definitely can be related to that. How are you going? I mean, we could say perhaps, how are you going to fill your hours? Right? You have the chance to do good things, and at the same time, you will have the chance to do not so good things, right? It doesn't need to be bad necessarily, but in the sense of us wasting time, right? What are you going to do? And listen, here we are not condemning, the need to rest and to rest your mind, to, to do whatever you do to, to, as long as it's not damaging others and yourself. But I think this is you brought a very interesting and I think a very important kind of example. Sometimes you go through life and you say, how do I fill this room? I will fill with wealth, with titles, with respect, with power. And at the end of the day, all of that is going to stay, to remain there. And what do you have to present for yourself, if not your improvement and good deeds, right? Because why do we say good deeds? Because you do not do good deeds if you do not have good in yourselves. It's not that I'm going now to start, making a control, like, the statistics, how much, or a pie chart, how much, uh, actions of good I did, or I helped 3 people this week, or no, it's not about that. It is, it is actually because we are not here fulfilling a quota. It is because genuine goodness comes from a good heart. And at the end of the day, it's not like, I helped 100 people in my lifetime. It's about, you had love in your hearts, whether it was like very much like the parable of the workers of the last hour, right? Some work at, I don't know, 12 hours, and the others just 1 hour, and they all received the same salary because, they work it the same amount, they learn the lesson. And this, I think, is what it is about. And I think your example makes it very clear to us and very palpable in a way that sometimes, we try to fill a space according to a material vision, because this is what he said. If I cannot put money here, what can I put? I have to fill up with something. And then, according to his conception, it had to be filled with something material. And the other one comes with, let's say, a demonstration of filling it with the light that comes from within, right? And this is what we are all searching. So don't worry too much, because sometimes we tend to try to compare ourselves with others. Oh, it seems that they do so much charity, and they do this and this and that and that. I mean, it's not about quantity, it's about the quality that you do, the things that you do that comes from your heart, from your spiritual maturity. Okay. Any more comments? Thank you.
I don't know, sometimes I feel not be able to give this kind of life she mentioned here, because sometimes I look around and say, I can't do anything to give the solution for this situation, so intricate situation. Then when I I feel, oh, maybe I should share something more love, more light, more prayer. I don't know. It's like I pretend to be something more than I really am, to understand what I try to say then. Because sometimes I feel so small in certain circumstances. Then when this chapter called me to share the light, and I sometimes I believe I'm not in this level yet.
You see, Sonia, the truth is we are not even in the level of changing ourselves, right? I mean, we are struggling to do that. We are silently trying to do that as the lesson brings to us. And the thing is, of course, we have eyes and ears, and we look around and we see, especially like she says here, you know, when the tree falls, it makes a huge noise and everyone pays attention. But when the life is, the tree is growing, no one is paying attention at all. So, like we said before, there are so many trees that are growing and we are not seeing it because they don't make a noise. And all this noise that we have in the world today, uh, they uh, they can impact and infect us, you know. And so with experience, I mean, I can share with you what I normally try to do, but it's because it's not necessarily what I manage to do all the time. When, let's say, life beats me hardly with what is happening with life, not necessarily that is affecting me directly, right? Um, of course, there is this first impact where you falter and you feel the shake, right, of the tree that is falling. But I try to make it a lever to push me even more in the direction of goodness. Because so I think uh, what we should do in those times, because we cannot change the world. Gandhi already said it, be the change you want to see in the world. So we cannot change the world, we cannot change people. We make an impact on their lives, obviously, but we don't change them, because even change ourselves is hard. So what we can do is saying to ourselves, I'm going to do my part. I'm not going to dismay from my ideal. And if your ideal now is an ideal to go in the path of righteousness, in terms of doing good, in terms of inner growth, you should continue in your purpose of doing that. Because normally what happens is we lose faith, we lose hope. You know, look around. What is the point? And then instead of doing anything to contribute to things getting better, that we can't many times, we join them. We cannot join this current. And so may all our, you know, the experiences that shaking us be of whatever nature, okay, related to all different areas that we have in our lives. Uh, at the end of the day, we should say to ourselves, but I will continue my path. I will continue in this journey. in my journey that I know that are others that are tracking as well. And one day we will see different. And I think this is the only way that we can contribute, not getting, contaminated by the dismay that exists, all of this, and by, keeping our own way. There are people that will call us insensitive, oblivious to the ills of the society. I mean, we cannot prevent others to think what they think and their interpretations. We know deep inside that the only one that we have to respond to is up high. And this is where I wanted to get. But I know that is hard. It's much, it is hard. And this is what we try to do many times with immediate success, other times not necessarily. We will get in the wave as well, but then we will say, oh, okay, the wave caught me, but I don't want it to drown myself in the wave. So I'll find for a way to survive. And the way to survive is not becoming oblivious, but not losing the sight of the goal we want to achieve. Was it clear?
Yes, there's more than I can do. I continue doing this because contribute and maybe place with others all around our planet make difference, right?
Yes.
It's small, but maybe it's a place among others.
But you see, in the eyes of God, is good enough. You remaining a light, even if it's a flickering light. Do not let your light go down. So that's the thing. My goal is this one, and regardless of what is happening, I'm not going to lose track what I think it's right. And things are bad, and sometimes instead of improving, they go to worse. But I'm not going to be contaminated by this idea that good does not prevail, because it will prevail. I think let's see, I just put a phrase by Joanna de Angelis yesterday that I thought was so beautiful. It's from one of her books, Moments of Health. Let me see. Times of Health and Conscientiousness. And she said the following: at your origin, you are light advancing towards the great light. Shadows exist only because you have not yet decided to activate the powerful generators of dormant energy within you. So we are light, and we cannot lose track that we are going towards the great light, the self-illumination. And the shadows that are here that makes us falter, that makes us doubt, that makes us, have those impulses. I don't know, what is it word for look around? As like she says, it's just because you have not decided to activate your powerful generators that it is within you, because we are children of God. The light is within us. But if we fill this, this cellar with hay, right, the light will not appear. So we have to rid ourselves from all the hay and just let the light bulb illuminates us. I thought this phrase was so beautiful. Yeah.
My daughter says, because I teach about this, no? So
Huh?
when she saw something doing bad things or throwing garbage in the streets or something bad, she said, "Mommy, it's a question of time. All people will be good." So she learned, she got the idea.
Yes, exactly. It's a matter of time. I mean, there is no way that we are not going to get there. It's just a matter of time and personal time because it's our choice. So now I have the choice. Am I going to let myself be swallowed by the wave of negativity, all of those bad things that are happening, or I'm going to keep on, my commitment to be a little focus of light so that when people come and try to reach for something, they will find some guidance. Okay. So thank you very much for all the comments and participation today.